it is fundamental to the leather sector. I also note that we have had a lot of discussions around this important topic. What we want, someone is speaking on my behalf.
I apologize for that connection that on the virtual space, and also use this opportunity to invite Abdul Hakim Sekali to also come and join the panel. A round of applause. Second time, we are asking for an apology. Please join us in the panel. And thank you, thank you, thank you. We're building on the goal, so thank you. Yes, thank you.
Well, welcome very much, Abdul. So what we will try to do in this panel is not to regurgitate what has already been said, but probably focusing on some of the implementable ideas with regards to the issue of traceability. So what we will try to do in this panel discussion is that we will dive into the importance, the challenges, but also the policy issues surrounding traceability. I think we have also heard a lot about issues related to capital and financing as well on traceability. And lastly, I will be asking you, our distinguished audience, to give us your input on some milestones where we hope to see the African continent in terms of traceability in the next 5 years. So please note that down. When we come to you, you can also share some important ideas with us. I would like to particularly also thank Robert and Abdul for joining us again. These are very strong men. Thank you very much. So let's start with you, Robert. I think the importance of traceability has been expressed over and over again in several of the panel discussions. Is it just a concept being imposed on Africa, or this is important and has advantages for the African continent, particularly producers, tanners, and exporters? Can you shed some light on it? And as you do so, I would like you to also tie in the issue of financing and investment on traceability. Over to you.
Thank you. Hello again. Let me just start. Traceability for Africa at the moment, we are at a disadvantage. Our setup is not geared towards that, just for all the problems we have been discussing before about even we don't have from the sheep, from the livestock or from the cattle alive, we don't know what's happening. If you are born a cattle in Europe, the day you are born, you are tagged in the ear, not branded all across the hide. They give you vaccines, you are followed. They have sheets and computers. They follow the cow from the day it's born to the day it's slaughtered. And once it's given to the slaughterhouse, it is killed and also followed up. I think there's a barcode machine or something they have, a traceability machine that they put on it. It goes to the tannery, they scan it. They actually have, like you go to the grocery, they scan it, and it goes into the process. Name one country in Africa that has that. Nobody has anything even close to that. But I'm here to tell you something. I just came from Milan Fair in October. I sat in on a meeting to just show you the danger of this with one of the other tanneries. Our tanneries, of course, stopped because of the war in Sudan. So they invited me to the meeting just to listen, see what's happening in the market. The Italians were very clear. The brands are blacklisting countries now. Not tanneries, countries. I have mentioned the name of the country. It was actually Kenya, is blacklisted by the brands right now. And if you hear the reason, you won't believe it. They don't kill the animal humanely. the abattoirs, and Kenya has abattoirs compared to what we have back there in Sudan, is unbelievably advanced. But it is blacklisted because the animals are not killed humanely. So sustainability for us as tanners, if we don't do it, we're out of the market. Olga's presentation, if you guys paid attention earlier, there are 3 main customers for leather in the world remaining. And this, by far, the biggest manufacturer of leather goods was by far Europe. So we have to adjust. We like it or not. But I come back again to my point. When Alpi started talking about traceability and they came to our country, they did not talk to the tanners. Who did they have to talk to first? The Ministry of Animal Resources, because you have to start at the source. Our ministries, our governments, this is your job. Until it comes, until from the time the cow is born to the time it is killed, we need to have record keeping facilities across the range. If you have the vets need to be involved. But it's a big undertaking and we will suffer. But we have to do it. Kenya is already started with these clusters. I think that's the first thing you did with the leather park. It makes it much easier. But the abattoirs, you have to work on it. Alpi, this we say leather and leather products. We have to include abattoirs along. They have included it for you. It's not we want to do it. It has been included now. We have to go, and from there you're going to go back to the farmer. Okay. Financing again will be the big problem, and I hear from ED financing is available. So hopefully we will get there. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you very much. And I think the point that Robert is raising is very important, that traceability has now become the how do you call it, the currency for trade. If your product is not traceable, I am sorry, you cannot access market. But he also raises another important point, which I would like to tie in as I invite Mr. Shoko to also come in on the challenges. The fact that traceability must begin from primary production. So welfare issues are important. Animal husbandry issues are important. But that said, Mr. Shoko, could you help us navigate some of the challenges in adopting this traceability system, particularly with regards to the smallholder farmers and artisans?
Yeah, thank you. You have already said the small. Once you say the small, it suggests that there is a challenge there. And the challenge there is in terms of infrastructure. The small guys that are identified as collectors, I want to propose that within Alpi, we drop the word collectors and say traders, because once you say collectors, and we want to go into issues of traceability where we place responsibility on these guys, there is a chance that they might not understand where we want to take them. We want them to make money. So if we want them to make money, we might as well give them a new name. They are small traders. Once you say they are small traders, then there's issue of commerce coming within them. So the first item is the issue of infrastructure. The guys will need equipment. And for them to have equipment, we have seen the pilot equipment which is being proposed. That pilot equipment is not cheap. It's very expensive. But here we are. We cook, we eat at home without all those expensive equipment. It means we need to adapt, to see how best we can organize appropriate infrastructure for our small traders so that they can do the job and do it perfectly well. I sat down and I looked at the issue of the pneumatic stamper, and I'm pleased to let the panel know that we can come in with an improvised equipment for our small traders, and we can convert our usual or our normal hammer, the one that is used, a hammer, proper hammer. We can actually construct a very good, nice hammer, which can track the bits instead of putting them on the pneumatic stamper. It is the hammer that's then used by these small traders. I can share the technology there, and it becomes an appropriate technology as we try to assist our small traders. The other part is the know-how. Academia, as you train shoemakers, bed makers, you need also to encompass our small traders in there so that they can appreciate the issues of business. Normally, when entrepreneurs are being brought into business incubation, the ones that are called collectors are never brought into the equation. I think if we have got to go in into traceability and they be part of that, you need to bring them in. We also need to identify that for any process to take place, there should be benefits, rewards. If this traceability system that is being introduced does not reward the traders, then there's a possibility that it might fail or it might not succeed. So there should then be a reward system attached to the same. So those are the three major challenges that I've managed to pick. Thank you.
Now, and thank you very much, my brother Shukwu. I think that leads us into yet another discussion, which I would now be turning to my sister Monema. You ended by talking about skills in particular, and I would like to now ask Monema, in terms of sustainability, how does traceability contribute to sustainability, and what capacity building efforts are needed to ensure that we have inclusive participation of particularly our artisans, and I will still use the word which Shoko doesn't want, smallholders, to get more involved in this traceability system. Monema, would you want to engage with that question?
Please, thank you very much. I would like to firstly thank ALPI for the opportunity. Zambia is one of the countries that is currently piloting the implementations of the hides and skins traceability program. So we were able to be trained in how the system should work. We have officially received the stamper, and one of the slaughterhouses has been identified where the branding will start on the raw hides and skins. So traceability systems provide detailed information on the origins and handling of hides and skins. So this would help to improve quality control, because we can identify the regions based on the data collected from our slaughterhouses, our abattoirs, our tanneries, everywhere where our skins and hides are produced. Would be able to get that data, and we would know which regions produce the best quality, and this would enable the next users to make decisions on where to source from in order to deter defects. That would help to reduce waste in the process. Going backwards, the data collected would also help in terms of looking upstream at the activities that happen upstream. When that data is used to see where where most of the defects are coming from in terms of the hides and skins. This would help these facilities like the farms. They would put interventions in terms of animal welfare, responsible slaughtering, and avoidance of illegal sourcing. One of the other impacts would be the environmental impact of traceability. Since we would know where the hides and skins are coming from, we'll be able to locally source, and would also be able to source from sustainable farms, thereby reducing emissions and reducing the carbon footprint. Traceability facilities would also be able to adhere to environmental guidelines and standards in terms of proper waste disposal and sustainable turning processes. So in terms of capacity building and stakeholder engagement, training and capacity building interventions are needed to ensure effective participation by all the stakeholders. Some of these would be awareness campaigns on the importance of traceability. This would be important so that all the stakeholders, starting from the farmers up to the end users of the leather goods products, they should understand the importance of traceability, because this is the one aspect which can aid certification. It would aid certification by ensuring that the data collected at the point of handling of the hides and skins is reputable. And that would aid the certification agencies to just have tangible data to use. In terms of technical training as well, we need to train in data collection and management at each stage of the supply chain with the appropriate tools such as barcodes or digital platforms. This would also include training in software use and technology use. It's also important for us to have the capacity building for the farmers and processors in animal welfare standards, storage and handling, as well as waste management. Monitoring and evaluation would also be very key in this traceability. These skills, we could train the stakeholders on evaluating the effectiveness of the traceability systems and providing guidance on identifying the gaps and upgrading systems based on the feedback. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Monema. I think you touch on very important issues, the importance of traceability in helping to demonstrate that there is ethical practice in the leather sector, sustainability, and due diligence for environmental sustainability as well. I particularly also like the bit where you mentioned the capacity buildings in the area of training on standards, M&E, awareness creation. These are very important. So thank you very much for those insights that you have provided. Now I'll be coming to you, our audience, particularly on M&E issues. And the question that we have for you is from where you said, what milestones should stakeholders aim to achieve over the next 5 years to establish a fully functional hides and skins traceability system in Africa? So think about it. I'll be coming to you in a moment. But so far, we have heard about challenges. We have heard about some of the technologies, the importance of traceabilities. And as I turn my attention to Abdul Karim, I would like him to briefly give us some case studies and best practices on traceability. Are there examples that we can learn from both in Africa and outside Africa? What are the lessons that we can learn from as we embark on this journey? Over to you, my brother.
Thank you so much, moderator. Thank you so much, ED and your team. Thank you so much, the sponsors and the delegation at large. Now, this is a very new phenomenon in Alpi. And the question I'm trying to handle, I think Michael could have been the best person to handle this question. If there is any success story. But during the virtual meeting that we've been having with Alpi, I remember to have requested a benchmarking exercise so that players could know where a success story could be picked. Nevertheless, we can say that this system has perfectly worked well in the European Union, Uruguay, Brazil, New Zealand, even in Africa, we have South Africa and Botswana. So we can say where to benchmark from is there. We can start with those nearby countries. As one presenter said yesterday, let's start from the known, then move to the known. Botswana, South Africa are not very far, and good enough for a colleague amongst us from South Africa who can maybe give us that technical guide. Look at how this has been working. Now, regarding the question put forward to me, where it has been implemented. One, Mr. Robert talked about the ear tag. That's very important. When they do the ear tagging, they are marking the animal right from the birth. They follow the animal as it grows, the treatment it goes through, maybe the vaccination, maybe even the change of the proprietor, so that by the time the animal has been slaughtered in abattoir, that has already been developed on that animal. So that maybe a tanner, after receiving the hide, can easily know and identify where that hidal skin came from. The slaughter tag again is associated that hidal skin for two reasons. One, the final user has to know where that material came from. As we see, most of the consumers now are advancing for that traceability before acceptance. My tanner is under LWG. I got a certificate. But some of the buyers are insisting that we must give a traceability of the source of the animals. My sister has talked about the challenges and other speakers. The challenges are still there. When it came to Uganda, I'm happy, but we have now a pneumatic stamper. Unfortunately, based somewhere where the private sector up to now has no access to. But you know, it's a pilot project. Maybe with time, it's going to be rolled out to the private sector so that we can look at how it is done and the benefits of using that. So we can as well, so this model is very important for us because the market is being dictated by where the material comes from. And I'm happy that Alpa started on this, and very soon we shall be attracting a niche market because of the source. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And don't forget my question. I'm coming to you almost immediately now. My brother Angasu, what would you want to add to what your fellow panelists have already indicated? Anything on technology policy? You have the floor.
Okay, thank you. I've been learning a lot when my fellow panelists were presenting. There is a lot I've learned. Maybe just to raise 1 or 2 points. When we think of traceability, maybe the impact that technology can give us has to be duly considered. Now we are in the phase of Industry 4. Industry 4 revolution is going on. It helps a lot with traceability. We have the RFID, that is radio frequency identification, using barcodes to trace whatever we want. It could be during production process, or it could be to trace other, it could be livestock, it could be anything. So the more we come close to technology, the more we can answer the pressing questions that is being asked by the developed world. So focusing on technology, I think, is key, and that supplements to the panel discussion we had in the previous session, which also focused on technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Take advantage of the fourth industrial revolution. Technology is the way to go when it comes to traceability, and there are several examples to learn from. Thank you very much, my fellow panelists. I would now turn to you, our audience, and to ask you. I'm sure some of you may have interacted with traceability systems. You've been in discussions. You may have some milestones in mind. So my question again: what are some of the milestones that we should aim to achieve as a continent within the next 5 years to establish a functional, I already see a hand up, thank you very much, to have a functional heights and skins traceability system in Africa. And if you can give me your response in just 2 minutes, I will really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Can we have the microphone sent to him? Not more than 2 minutes,
Yes.
please.
So, thank you, moderator. Just a question. When you look at the sustainability and traceability, these are stringent requirements by European markets. And when you look at the trends from even a presentation by ITC, we are moving towards South-South cooperation. And we are even focusing into intra-African trade. Is it still relevant really to put in more energy and efforts around traceability? Because these are stringent requirements by the European consumers. So I think we need to change this narrative, this paradigm. If I'm exporting my leather from Uganda to Rwanda, is traceability a requirement? No. So let's be really realistic in our discussion in terms of our market access, which market requires traceability. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is an interesting observation you make, and I'm sure we are going to have responses on that. I see you, ED, but before that, I saw a hand there. So let's take, I see a lot of hands coming up. So now I am legislating 1 minute for each question.
No problem.
Yes,
Yeah.
1 minute.
1 minute.
Yes.
Start counting the seconds. I think what I'm going to think we should be aiming for is RP started a hides and skins traceability system, but perhaps 5 years we should look at it having been integrated with the livestock identification system, so that there is cross-referencing and good tracking of the entire system. Thank you.
Excellent. I like his response, and it's very short. Integrate into the livestock traceability system. I come to you, ED.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I think Bosco has raised a critical point. Is it necessary? But I think yesterday, Ruben shared with us a scenario about these standards and so forth, which we used to say, are they necessary? But in his discussion, he demonstrated that now they are affecting us at home. So it's still an open question. But I just wanted to make a contribution relating to the EU deforestation directive. We are part of the traceability system under Cottons, and we attend the meetings virtually. And what is coming out is they were using the example of Brazil. Brazil is supplying a lot of skins to Europe, but the meat, they supply low volumes of meat to Europe. So the beef industry is not interested with traceability. So if they are not interested, it means the export to Europe will suffer. That's why they are thinking of delaying to implement it. When we relate it to Africa, you'd find many African countries outside Botswana, Eswatini, and Namibia. None of us are exporting meat to Europe, meaning the beef industry will not be interested to adhere to traceability, meaning the entire African continent will be out of the European market. But I still agree with my brother, South-South collaboration. But many years ago, I think 2008, when REACH was introduced by EU, most people thought we were going to trade with China. Actually, initially the skin's going to China. But then EU said the shoes are coming from China to EU. We don't want those shoes. You see what I mean? So reality came. His question is very critical, but it's still debatable. But the advantage which is there, one of the biggest producers of skins, the US, their meat is not going to Europe. Maybe it's consumed in the US, but some of their skins are going there. So if it becomes effective, it means they are banning US. Can they ban the US? So it's still a gray area. Thank you.
Thank you. Interesting perspective. I see your hand up. Let me go to our sister on my extreme left, and then I come to you.
Mine is just to emphasize that the traceability project is good because it's going to highlight the quality among us in the trade of this business up to the end consumer. Because first, each one throw out the stone to another saying it is you who have not done well. But with that traceability project, if it is implemented well, it's going to highlight where the challenge are and how to correct them. Then we can testify that for us in Rwanda, we have tried to do the piloting, whereby we stamped it on the hides and the skins. You can just check up on our stand. It has that mark. It has the code of Rwanda, whereby if I export to Uganda, if it is a common regulation, they will not remove that mark. If the hide is not good, or if the skin is not good, they will recommend us again saying, you have to improve on your livestock and also in the process of slaughtering hide and skin. I submit.
Thank you very much. And she raises a very important issue on traceability, that traceability provides the evidence that one, you are implementing a standard, two, that you are complying with regulations, not just for the EU market, but also for your own market. And the way to do it is by recording. So if you like, you are doing a history of all the processes across the value chain. So let me weigh in also as an expert that at this point, there are several, you may already be doing some form of traceability in terms of your recording, the history, etc. And so it's not an abstract something, but of course, in terms of the technology and the rest, there is more to be done. Anyway, this is your forum, so I will leave it to you. Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Can you allow me to move from theory and go to practical?
You are allowed.
Thank you very much. I'm a tanner, but I'm not a leather technologist. But for sure, here we have some people who have experience and who can share with me the experiences about this traceability. Consider that you buy 300 hides from 3 farmers. 1, 2, 3. Then you start processing them. You have 3 drums. 1 drum can process 1 batch with 100 hides. We have drum A, B, C. Then when you finish tanning, you will dispatch this batch
at least in 3 groups. But for sure, it can be even more. It can be for skins, for example, it's almost 12. It can be TR 4, 5, but sometimes more. TR can be big, large, medium, and small. Consider only, for this example, only 3 grades, TR 4, 5. And you split in large, medium, and small. It means 12. For the 3 batches, you have 36 groups already. Am I right? And for the traceability, how you make your files that can be shown to the auditors or to the client, because they need to show in the files where your material comes from which farmer, how it was processed, and how was the temperature you have used in the drums, which chemicals, anything must be traceable. So I would like an experience from someone who has done this traceability file so that I can use his template. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is there any experience, anyone who can respond to this issue? But I think the issue that he raises touches on the fact that this is still a new concept in the sector, which requires a lot of understanding. This is what I am getting from his question. It requires a lot of understanding. It requires a lot of capacity building. So you don't just take up the system because they say it is good, but we should integrate into our systems first. But I would ask Bob, yes, Bob, to respond.
I just want you to please read the part that I was supposed. What was the question that I was supposed to be asked? What specific advantages do producers, tanners, and exporters gain from implementing traceability system? And I refused to answer that question. I told the chair, because you are all absolutely right. And the fact that we are talking about it openly is correct. Even ED said it, okay? But I hope you heard what I said to you at the beginning. If you don't do it, you are out of the supply chain. It's that simple. We have to do it to stay in the supply chain, okay? And we're not going to be able to do it as tanners. We tried it. You want experience? You are talking about 3 drums and 300 hides. Try 2,500. You know how many skins in a drum? 2,500 to 3,000, right? And you're getting 100 batch in each. In 1 drum, there is 27 suppliers. You go follow that up. So we have options, no? We can cook the books. We are Africans. Why not? We can cook the damn books. But guess who's going to take the cooked books? The Indians or the Chinese, who will fix the books even more to make you look good. But they are going to charge you for it. Yeah. If you are selling for, if they are selling it for 20, they will only pay you 12. Because you don't want to do the system. So you do the system to stay in the supply chain. That's the only thing I'm going to tell you. We have to do it because we don't make the decisions for the supply chain as Africans. For sure, our friend was asking about South to South. If you remember in the first panel I was in, what did I say? Leather, the biggest market for us is going to be Africa. We're the last man standing. Because for us as Africans, it utilizes the labor. We have the labor. We want them to use it up. And we have the resources. The rest of them are growing animals in the lab. Good luck to them. But we are talking now about traceability. Please, governments, please, export development banks, please, financiers, finance the and our stuff. It's not, it has to be from the time the animal is born. And I want to add one thing. As tanners, we are resistant now. If it works, if you know what's happening to the animal and where it's getting hurt, it will fix our problems as well. You know, all these stone marks and the branding and who's doing this and who's doing that. But the governments have to do this. You cannot start, I'm going to become a herder. I'm going to become a slaughterer. And I'm going to become a tanner. And then I'm going to become a shoemaker. This vertical integration is impossible. This is what we mean by lack of infrastructure. If you go to lack of infrastructure, Shoko was talking about traders and collectors and what do we call. You know what? Let's take them out of the bloody equation. What the hell do you need a trader and a collector for? Give them. Anyway.
A hand for him. All right. I think we have gone past our 30 minutes, but it's been a very interesting discussion. I note one hand up. Can you assure me that you are doing it in 1 minute? Yes.
So thank you, Chair. So I wanted to note that in the early part of the value chain, the animal traceability, we are seeing some innovations around there. Yeah, there are countries that are doing that. And the DRIVE project, Kenya is almost launching a system for animal identification and traceability. So, and I think our last speaker, what is missing now is to take it to the entire value chain, so that as the product value addition is going up, the traceability can still happen. I think that's a great lesson. And also we have a subsidiary called Eka Africa. It does insurance. They've been able to crack like a biometric for animals, the muscle-based technology where they insure the animals using that. So there are already some technologies, but that's for the primary producer. The question is, because the hides and skin identification is different, how do we integrate them so that we have end-to-end, that people just need to plug in instead of everyone owning their own? Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. There are some things that are happening.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much. We can't take any more interventions, unfortunately, but the discussions will continue. I hear we have someone online who would want to chime in. Let's give our participants that opportunity. Are you ready
thank
to?
You. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kasonde Mwamba. I'm the founder and CEO of Personal Travis Enterprises Limited. Our company is into leather shoe manufacturing. Of course, we don't only do leather shoes, we also do belts and wallets, bags, etc. So, tentatively, we are into leather products manufacturing. So, I've observed, which I haven't heard about it being spoken, and I don't know whether this is just in Zambia, but the animal identification that has been spoken about is good, and also we need to look at the branding of the animals, which is affecting the leather quality. You'll find that 3/4 of the hide is branded, and then the upper that you are going to, out of the same hide is little than you can get when the animal is well branded. So for me, everything that has been spoken is welcome. And just to add on, I think it's important that we educate the farmers, the livestock farmers, on how to brand their animals, so that we take the full benefit of the hides. Thank you so very much.
And thank you very much too. And as I summarize, I would like to indicate that we have had the challenges, but also the opportunities of traceability. The fact that it gives you market access, it enables you to demonstrate sustainability and also ethical practices. Nevertheless, it has its own challenges, as we have heard in the different questions that have come up. And that certainly means that we need to ramp up capacity building, awareness creation, educate our farmers and our artisans to enable them to better appreciate this particular concept. Traceability is not just a tool, it's a shared responsibility. Listening to the discussions that we have had, collaboration, partnerships, capital, financing are all important. But certainly it is becoming a currency for trade. And now we may be dealing between Africa and the rest of the world, but it certainly will be catching up even within Africa. And so Africa shouldn't be left behind. I think we should put our house in order, difficult as it may seem, contextualize it within our own peculiar African situation so that we are able to take advantage of the trading opportunities available. So with that, I would like to say a big thank you to all the panelists who have shared insight into this important topic. And thank you very much. We are out of time, but not out of ideas. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Edie, can we steal him from the AU, please? We need him with Alpi. He kept us all quiet. 1 minute, 2 minutes. We need this. We are leather people.
Okay, Rob. I think that's a very concrete observation. But what we have done, ALPI and AU IBA, we have signed an MOU. So he is a partner for the implementation of traceability, because they focus on livestock when it is alive. Then we will start at slaughter. So indirectly, he's already working for ALPI, and indirectly, we are working for AU IBA. Thank you.
Thank you. And a round of applause for the panelists. They have done very, very well. Thank you for those deep insights. May I ask that we either sit for a photo session or we stand? So the media, can you? Thank you very much. A round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that engaging and enlightening session brings day 2 of this incredible 3-day conference to a close. We have tweaked the programming a little bit, and thank you. I can see my brother from Uganda, based in Addis, looking at me, but all is well. So I want to thank the panel chair, John Otto, for steering that process, steering that conversation extremely well. Many thanks to our panelists as well. And as we move forward, may I ask that this momentum that has been built over the last 2 days, please let's carry it forward into tomorrow. Tomorrow is the last day, and I know that we are going to be meeting here at 8:30, bright and early. And therefore, I want to thank you so much as we wrap up today's conversations. And it is our belief that we're going to have ultimately impactful outcomes. So thank you. I don't know whether there is any housekeeping to be made. Yes, there is. There's some housekeeping there to be made. So on behalf of IP, I want to thank you so much for your contributions. And from Parkin by Radisson, my name is Tom Vaya, and have a good evening. A clap for all of yourself.
Thank you, Master of Ceremony. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. On behalf of the Africa Laser and Laser Products Institute, I'll extend a warm invitation to you for a dinner event. So the event will take place on 12 December 2024 at 19 hours at the Park Inn by Radisson Hotel. Thank you.